Hello people, this is my first talking video and this video will be very different from what I normally do and so is not my style. And normally I'm really good with words, but today feels a little bit weird. So this video will be about my failures in this last 2 years. I can say maybe a year and a half. Um and I will just talk about it because I just feel like it, and I think I'm coping with it really well. And if somebody out there is living the same thing, going through the same situations, maybe this could help them. So I just wanted to talk about it. Okay, so I wanna start with how it all started. So my family had, by the way, I wrote this. My family, this is my first time. Um, so my family is really good with music and art in generally, so I grew up in it. And when I was 8, 9, my mom with her with her first paycheck bought me my guitar, Daisy, my baby. um and I was a 9-year-old girl with a guitar who was almost as tall as her. That's how it all started, my music career. Career, I don't think I can say that, but that's how I started music. And until 7th grade, I wanted to be a doctor. But with 7th grade, with shutdown and everything, while we were in our rooms, I decided, actually, I discovered that I'm not that big of a fan of medicine. I love medicine, by the way, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'm the right person to help people in that area. So I realized that I like doing music a lot more than that. And that's how I started this whole music career stuff thing. Yeah. So if you actually come to part where I failed, I guess it all started with 2024 summer, August. I wanted to go abroad with music. My major was opera, and I wanted to go abroad, and it all started in 2024 August when I first got into my IELTS classes, my courses. And that year, I had, wait, I wrote it all down. I got into too much exams. Okay, so I was still in school, high school, and I had my school tests, and I did all of those, and then I had a piano exam in December, I would say 2024 December, and I passed that too. That was West London's piano course, and I passed that, and I had a concert at the same time, and I did all those. And then fast forward, we were in 2025 February, and that's when I had my IELTS exam, and that is a stop where I thought I was going to fail. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, I'm gonna fail this, but I didn't. I passed my IELTS exam too, and I was very happy. And that made me feel like I am going to pass every other exam. And I kind of got this weird ego with it. But in April, I had my um, exams, college entrance exams for abroad schools, and I failed those. Horrible times. That made me really sad, and I was I was in a bad place with this because I really thought that I was gonna do it. Now looking back, I am fine with it, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen because I got to improve myself a lot in this last year. But yeah, at the time I was sad. So since I wasn't going abroad, um, I started working on my talent exams in Turkey. I started working for them, studying for them. And in Turkey, we have another college exam, entrance exam. I needed to take that as a test on paper. Every teenager in this country gets in them to go to college. I passed those two. That was fine. That was easy for me because I didn't need to have like a really big score. I just needed to pass a certain point to get into college talent exams. And then that year's talent exams didn't go well. I didn't get in, and that was like a big failure for me. I couldn't believe it. And in September of that year, 2025, I started working again. But this time there were no abroad stuff or anything, because since I failed the first time, my family was like, that is not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that again. And I kind of agreed because I wasn't good. I wasn't good enough. That's when I started coping with this failure stuff because I was so scared of failure. I'm like, I was one of the best students in my high school, and yeah, it wasn't the best high school in my country, but I was a good student. I was one of the best students in my high school, so I I was doing good and all that, and so not being able to get into college for a whole year was horrible for me, and it was really hard to cope with, but I did. And how I did is starting here. So let me tell you. Um, my first video in this YouTube channel, which I deleted it, was from that time. From 2024 August. I first started here, if I'm not wrong, I believe. Um, but I didn't do anything because I was really busy. That's the part. I was so busy that I was not able to do my music. My whole life, music was my way of coping with stuff. And for the first time in my life, I needed to cope with failure of music. I was not good enough to do music in college. All over the world, my country also in it too. So it was really scary, and I was so busy with opera and all the talent exams, I forgot to do my music. And it was bad for me because in arts, your soul is like this. Your relationship with your art major is like really important, you know. And I was in a bad place with music, with my own music. So that's when I started to cope with it. That's how I. Let me explain. In 2025 in September, when I realized that I failed everything, what I did was I started going back to my own music. Yeah, like I was okay. I am not gonna do opera for a while. I'm not gonna do anything. Just let me have my music, and that's I guess that's when I started actually uploading this to this channel. Um, I start doing my own music, and that's how I started. I guess it's like going back to roots kind of stuff. I'm not really sure. This is hard. So I started doing my music, and then everything came back together. Um, I start working on everything all over again. But of course, a year still wasn't enough. But I was coping with it good. Like I wasn't feel like I was in hell, you know, because that's how I used to feel. But when I started doing my music, so like what I mean, my first love, music, and my safe place also is music. I was back to that place, so I was coping with it because I was in a safe place, and I knew that this wasn't the end of anything, college or anything. So this year, I was really comfortable working, and I was really um myself. That's why I have this channel. Because normally I'm like so scared of getting on camera and getting in front of camera and singing, and also I'm really scared to sing to other people. Um, no, it's really scary. I remember one time I choked on myself, my own split. I choked when I was on the stage singing. It was horrible. Yeah. So I was really scared, but I started doing this, started doing my music, and it all just fell into this place, into their own place. And fast forward this year, I'm doing this video really fast forward, because I don't want to take it too long. I can't watch long stuff when it comes to people talking about themselves and their experiences sometimes. So I'm trying to make it really fast, and excuse my grammar wrong, my grammar problems. I'm sorry, I'm really excited. Anyways, so this year, of course, I didn't get into any college, and I knew it. Let me explain. This year, I'm gonna give one more year of mine to only and only working on music. I'm gonna give 1 year. I was like, I'm gonna give 1 year of only music, and I know that this is going to give me and a lot of stuff, and I know that I'm going to gain a lot of stuff from this experience. I knew that I wasn't going to get into any colleges, any universities this year too, and I did it on purpose. Like I said, I realized that 2 years of work, 5 years of work, wasn't going to be enough to get into college of musics, because this is a really hard and really serious thing. So I was, let me give this a year of only music, and I'm going to gain stuff from that. And that's what I did. And of course, this year I failed a lot of other stuff too. Let me talk about those. First, driver's lessons license. I couldn't get in. I couldn't do it because I was having anxiety attacks while I was driving. Not because I'm scared of driving or anything like that. Actually, I want to drive race cars in the future. So I'm not scared. Not that I was scared of that. I couldn't because everything was just too much. I had a lot of Korean language exams at that time. Oh yeah, let's not forget about them. I passed all my Korean language exams, all of them. Topic, my courses, level up exams. I passed all of them. Uh, I passed this year's college, and we call YKS in here in Turkey. I passed that too. I got a higher score than I did yesterday last year. I did that. Yeah, I failed my driver's license, but I passed those. I failed my most important, of course, talent exams. I failed those, and I knew that I was going to fail. I knew what I was lacking of. I like lacking of. I knew it. I knew what was wrong. But like I said, I wanted to give a year full of music, and I learned a lot of things from that. And this next year I'm going to try again. But this year I'm going to do some other stuff too. I'm gonna keep on working. Um, I got into a 2 year college this year just to be doing something because that's not going to affect my talent exams. So I said let's just do that too. Um, I'm going to try a lot of other stuff too, again and again. So I'm very happy. That's how I'm coping with it. I went back to my roots. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, but I failed a lot of things and I passed some things in this last 2 years, I can say. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it was horrible at first. Like I felt like I was in hell because I wasn't a person who was used to fail stuff. Like because I was not. I don't fail anything before and it felt bad. I wasn't used to it. And then it was horrible. But then I made my peace with it. I went back to my roots. I went back to music. I didn't run away from it. I just tried to find my voice, and I still don't know if I have found it or like if I'm there. Probably not. And I will probably will never find it. I'm never gonna be this is what I am. I'm never going to be able to say that. That's impossible. But what I did is I went back to my safe place. I went back to my music, my roots. What I did before all this um things like before life got so complicated. What I did, I went back to that and I kept working and I accomplished some stuff that helped me and will help me in the future. I didn't just left everything to aside. I just kept working and kept studying. And um I guess I was so scared, but this year I wasn't that scared. I was making my peace with it. You know? I used to hate it. Now I'm trying to love it. I think that helps. That helps. Like I'm talking about exams. And I guess what I will do is I will always work and study a lot more harder. And yeah, this is kind of end of the video. I, I don't know, just because I feel like um everything is in such a mess right now. The whole video. I hope it's not, and I hope it helps some people out there. I don't know if anyone is going to watch it, but I just did it, and I'm happy with it. But yeah, basically, I failed. I passed. I did a lot of stuff, but only thing that I can say is music is my safe place, and I just went back there. So I think that's the main point, and that's how I cope with stuff. So if it helps, also this all my experience. I don't know your life or anything, so I just wanted to share my experiences. I'm not recommending anything or saying you should do that. I'm not doing that. I just said what I've been through in the last 2 years with a lot of failures. Yeah, that's how I cope with it. Thank you for watching me if you watched it until there. And this is my first talking video, so I'm sorry if everything is and it's like it's everywhere. Everything is everywhere.